Hey folks, it's Ted. How we doing? Let's see. Where did we leave off yesterday? We left off with um, I wanted to do this kind of like bonus screen, and what that essentially entails is basically just a screen that you walk to where you can pick up a bonus um, that will then be added to your either like repair charges or energy usage or stone count. So I've got that mostly working. I'll actually show you kind of what I've got. There's some bugs with it. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like run it and kind of debug it and sort of see. But I've basically just, actually wait a second. I'll run it in the debugger just so I can maybe get a sense of what might be going on. Oh, wait, what? Okay, that's not what I expected. Interesting. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Weird. Oh, shoot. No, 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 that's not. No, I did the thing. Uh, Not a great way to start the stream. Okay. I have a fix for this, don't worry. Um, I accidentally overwrote my art. Okay. So I should be able to open my art back up and it should work again. Then you can see. Yeah, okay, good. That's what I want. That's the event icon. I was making another repair icon that's like a little bit of a lighter color because it looks a bit wrong against the backdrop that it's on. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Anyway, let's take a look at that. So I'm just going to run it. And then I've got to go and if you hear that noise in the background, that is my partner and our dogs. All right. Here's what we've got. We've got this. I'm kind of just showing this to you in sort of the debug mode where nothing costs anything. And I said earlier that I've got these kind of events that you go up to, like random events. Okay. I place my deck panel. And then what I can do is I can walk up to these and I can hit E. And then I get a bonus like this. So 4 energy, which is cool. Everything works except for the clicking on the bonus part, which for some reason does not work. Clicking OK does not seem to work. So that's kind of interesting. Not really sure why that's the case. Maybe there's something. Dated graphics. So I have to figure out why that click action isn't working. Maybe I'm not totally synced up here. Not true? Okay, so something's up with the click action. I need to figure it out. I just need to find out where the code is for that click. Mouse left click, I think is what I call it. Hi. My partner is referring to our youngest dog, who as we say, likes to scream and pee and scream. Card is hovered. So I should have like some logic that's like, oh, wait, what? Okay, crap. Oh, annoying. I must have forgotten to commit some of the work that I did last night, as always, right? Like, so I work a lot on my Mac laptop, and then I kind of switch back and forth between that and this PC. And there's a lot of times where I'm working on something, and then I end up just like not committing, or like I commit it, but then I don't push it, and then I have to like see. Actually, if I could just work on one computer all the time, I would. But a lot of times I have to like watch the dogs, or got to go somewhere or whatever. So I end up being on my my MacBook instead, and so here we are. But all is good, my friends, because we will continue. Because we're actually just going to put in a button action. So we've got this like, all I have here is just some logic that essentially says, when we're on the screen with the bonus, and there's a button on that screen. Now for me, because I don't really subscribe to object-oriented programming, right? And I prefer more of a procedural approach. A button is not something that's like this like self-contained thing, right? A button is actually just a bunch of like logic that covers all of the things that can happen, right? So typically speaking, with most things we call buttons, you need some way to detect that the mouse cursor is over the button, right? We would call that the hover state. So we need some way of figuring out, hey, is there a hover state happening, right? And then usually there's some other logic that's like, if we are indeed inside of this hover state, right? Then maybe what we would do is we would display a different background, or like some kind of indication to the user that they are hovering over the button. I would consider this, the designer part of me is like, this is what I would call good user experience design, which is essentially just, hey, like, people generally speaking, they like it when they are presented with feedback for their actions, right? So whenever reasonable, whenever possible, let's always present people with some kind of visual feedback for the thing that they're doing, so that they know that they're doing the right thing, right? In the case of buttons, a really just like kind of bare bones basic thing that you can do is just say, hey, how about if like the mouse cursor is over the button, let's just draw it a little bit differently, right? Just so people know that it's like saying to people like, hey, I see you. It's kind of like walking by someone on the street and being like, giving them a shout, like, I noticed that you noticed me, right? So that's kind of what that is. And so I'll say like, okay, button hovered. So that's the state. So there's just logic, there's no objects. There's just logic figuring out, there's just logic and state, right? And so there is this state of, are we hovered or not, right? Well, what is that state, right? That's an abstraction. That's just a way of, communicating what's actually going on. At a little bit of a lower level, the state of being hovered is really just if on the screen, the mouse cursor is inside of the rectangle that contains the button. So we need to figure out where we're drawing the button on the screen. We need to figure out where the mouse cursor is. And then we just do some comparisons around the bounding edges of that box, right? So if the mouse cursor happens to be inside the bounding edges of the box, then we're in a state where it's hovered. So we just need to like hang on to, store somewhere in memory that state, and then read it back later, right? So that's all that this is doing. So okay, button hovered. And indeed I have as you can see, there's a little bit of an abstraction that's kind of like bubbled up here just through working through this naturally, but I've got this function that's like draw 3x6 button background, and then I can pass in whether or not it's hovered. And then all that does Do I have it here? Yeah, I've got it. So it's going to use a different like look. It's going to use a different 3x3 from the texture map here. From like, so they'll use like a different one of these when drawing it, if it's hovered or not, and that's how you get the background change. Pretty simple logic, but just kind of a, we're doing some UI programming essentially. But yeah, I mean, most of these things that would have, in like standard object-oriented programming world would have been like classified as something where you need an object. Like actually most of the time you don't really need an object. Most of the time it's really just a matter of, it's really just a matter of like, hey, we're just going to do some logic that like checks for a state, and then if we're in the state, then do like you could take anything that would have been in like a class or something like that. And you can break it down into basic simple procedural logic of like, okay, what states do we need to figure out? Okay, then what do we need to do when we're in those states? Like you can turn it into some kind of state transformation thing. This is basically all computers do. So that's what we're doing. So we've actually got all the logic to hover, but we don't have any logic that's like, hey, what happens when the OK button is actually clicked, right? So we need that. And this would happen in the update loop. So essentially, we've got if OK button hovered, right? And there's this other thing called pressed repeatable key. What that does is it's a function that I have for figuring out if a certain this is actually something a contractor wrote for me previously, but basically what it does is it just like there's a bit of a problem that happens when you're working with like something like a game engine or something like an update loop that can get called 60 times a second, right? Okay, so imagine that if I was simply just testing like, did you click, right? Like did I click like with this mouse button, right? Like the left click. If I just check if the button's down, right, on this frame, that kind of behavior actually turns out to be, and then you do something based on that and not on that frame. It actually turns out to be so like too fast. So what I mean by that is, on one frame, it's going to detect that the button is down, right? And then because it's like 60 times a second, right? That's actually faster than it would take for you to remove your finger and allow the mouse to come back to a state where it doesn't really recognize the button is down. So it's actually going to take like more than one frame of gameplay for the system to recognize that your finger is off of the mouse button. So how do we solve this problem, right? Like one thing that you could do just sort of as like and this is basically what this does, although there are more or less sophisticated things, because at some point you also have to become frame rate independent. I don't necessarily for this game, but like way later on when you're actually shipping, you might care about that. You have to say, okay, well, actually what we're going to do is we're going to like say, if it was down this frame, then it counts as down. But then we need to like say, but don't check for like maybe like 15 more frames or like some period of time, right? Because if you check after that, you're almost guaranteed to find like noise. You're going to find something that's like, you're probably going to detect the same state. So what we're trying to do is take something that like the input for it happens so often, it happens every frame. We want to say, okay, grab that one. Okay, now we're done. Let's not look for a bit, right? And then let's wait for a while for another one. Because if you just then test on the next frame, you're even going to find that like that it's a similar kind of a thing. You're going to find that you'll get the exact same input, right? The mouse left click will be down again, and that's you obviously don't want to be running logic based on that. So we don't do that. And that's kind of what this like pressed repeatable key thing does. It basically does some version of just, it doesn't do that exactly, but it does some version of that, where it's like saying, hey, like let's not just check it every time on every frame. So if OK button is hovered and mouse left click is down, okay, well in that case, remember that we actually, the whole point of going to the bonus screen is that we're going to give you a bonus, right? So at that point, we have to take the bonus that we set up, that we randomly generated, right? So, and then we have to apply that bonus somewhere, right? Somewhere that the game recognizes. So I would say, so the two things that get generated are bonus type and bonus resource count, right? So bonus type, now where does that live? Okay, so this is the code here that, or this is a section of the program that does that random generation, right? So this randomly generates the bonus type that we're going to apply, and we have three different kinds of bonuses that we can give the player. We can give them a boost in rocks, like the amount of rocks that you've got. We can give them an energy boost, and we can also give them a boost in repair charges. So any of those three, right? And the way that we decide which of those to apply is basically through a random number generation, right? So we generate a random number between 0 and, basically 0, 1, and 2. And then what we do is based on what those are, we pick which of those to do. And then the amount of resources is just a random number between 0 and 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then because we don't actually want we don't want to ever give anybody a boost of like 0 resources, right? That would feel like kind of a cop out, like cheap. Instead, what we do is we add 1 to that number. So if it generated the number 4, then we would add 1 to that, and you would get 5 resources. The whole point is it's random number generation, and we generate that before you ever go to the screen. Although actually, come to think of it, I think what I want to do here, actually, just for the sake of simplicity and clarity, and for the sake of not having too many things be spread out. Like generally, if you have the decision to not spread things out in your code, it's better because it's more easy to kind of reason about what's happening. If when something happens, it's kind of close by to the source of it. So what I was going to do is wait to apply the new resources until after you click the OK button, right? Which to me felt right because it was like, they clicked OK, like they accepted the resources. But actually, the more that I think about this, like you're going to get the bonus whether you want it or not. And so it should just apply the bonus and then show the screen and then show you what bonus it applied and then go and then just do that. And then that way, if I just apply the bonus right here, instead of when you click the OK button, it actually kind of simplifies things a little bit, because then clicking the OK button, all it does is it just switches you off of that screen. So that would actually be like a really simple kind of naive thing to do, right? And I think it would actually be better. And then we don't even need to we do need to count the bonus resources, but we could also just do, we have this same, I'll show you actually. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to like, right here. So I'm going to generate the bonus resource count before I generate the bonus type. And you'll see why that is. Because now we've got the bonus count, and inside of each of these cases, we can add to the state variable on the game state of where we're storing. So these are the essential resources right here. And again, like there's nothing special about this. That's kind of what I want to keep sort of with programming, right? There's nothing special about these abstractions. it's just a big glob of state. There's some numbers like associated with it, right? And there's no need to make this like more abstract than it is, right? It's just we got these numbers, we got to update the numbers. Maybe later on, maybe like what I want to do is I want to come up with like something like a structure that's like a V2S, like, or something that's like combines these two together because they actually are frequently used together. So yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible thing to do because that looks like it's kind of becoming a thing that we're doing. But right now there's actually not that many resources in the game, so it's not that big of a deal to do it. But basically, I've got this, right? And then I can go here. And I can do this. And then the amount is going to be the bonus resource count, right? So that'll give me the rock boost. This will give me the energy boost, right? The energy boost will be used here. And then this will give me the repair boost, right? Yeah. All right, so that basically just, all that did was that applied the boost here where it is generated. And then when we click on the OK button, we're not doing anything special. We're just clicking to dismiss the screen. And then the only reason that we even hold on to these variables for the type of bonus, right? And for the amount of the bonus is purely for display purposes. Like I'm just showing you what bonus was applied, even though I already applied it, right? So you're not even really like, you're just, I don't know, you're not even really like confirming anything. You're just like, all right, whatever. Like that's what I'm doing. So let's look at that. OK button hovered. Okay. If point is inside rectangle, it's hovered. Then right here, it's actually really simple. I think I just have a Boolean variable that's like is in bonus screen or something. Like in bonus screen. Yeah, in bonus screen. Okay. So yes, it's in the bonus. No, it's not, no longer in the bonus screen. All right. And this is another thing, I guess, about programming is like, it's very common in modern day sort of, it's weird, it's strange because it's almost like a pseudo object oriented programming mixed with functional or something. Like they wanted to go in a functional direction, but then they didn't really get rid of the roots of the object orientedness, which is why in like modern day like iPhone app development, you have a lot of these really weird abstractions like model, view, model, which is it's like kind of acknowledging things that they liked about object oriented, or like maybe like having like one foot in the object oriented swamp, while at the same time trying to move towards functional programming like Swift UI. And so it's like this weird mishmash of things, but it ultimately ends up being so much more complex than is necessary. What I find totally absurd is this idea that we should have an entire thing called a view model, like just for one screen, where if I boil it down and I look at something like what I'm doing for this game, which is just simple, straightforward procedural logic, all I have for like figuring out if we're in a screen or not is like one Boolean variable that's like And all it is it's like, are we in this screen? Okay, and then I've just got one big function that like checks, like, are we in this screen? Okay, we're in the bonus screen. Okay, so when we're in the bonus screen, we're not gonna like, we're not gonna run any simulation on the entities. We're not gonna like check if the player is like moving or not. We're not gonna, we will move the mouse cursor because that's important. And then what are we gonna do inside the bonus screen? Well, we're gonna show, we're gonna draw like, we're going to draw like a picture, some little text up top saying bonus. Then we're going to draw a little picture of the thing that you got the bonus for. And then we're going to draw a number, and then we're going to draw a button. And if you're hovering over the button, we'll make the button look differently. Okay, that's actually like really simple, right? Didn't need me to invent a thing called a model view model, or a view model, or any of that stuff. All it took was for me to just be like, there is a state called being in a screen, right? How do we store whether or not we're in that screen? What is the simplest possible way that we can store whether we are in a screen? How about a Boolean variable that is true, false, that says whether we're in the screen, okay? And then if we're in the screen, let's do the stuff that's related to the screen that we're in. And then if we're not in the screen, let's do the stuff that's related to the, to the other screen that we may be in. Okay, seems like actually really simple. So I don't understand why things like model view model, or even model view controller, or all this like really complicated, unnecessary stuff became the norm, when actually if you break it down to like what do you have to do, it's a really simple thing. You just need to be like, okay, are we in this screen? Okay, good. Let's do the things that are related to being in that screen. So all we're going to do is we're just going to say, hey, guess what, game engine, game logic? We're not in that screen anymore. And so now that we're not in that screen anymore, you have logic that detects if you're in that screen. And it's actually in these different loops. You'll see inside the update loop, it's like, if we're in the bonus screen, do this stuff. And then at the very bottom, return. Don't do anything else, right? And now if we're in the card select screen, do all this stuff, right? This is for picking in a card, right? And then when you're done, don't do anything. Okay. Now, what's all this stuff after here? Well, this is all the stuff that happens when we're not in any specific screen per se, but we're in the actual game, the game content. Okay, so we're gonna do all the like complex things that are a part of the game, like moving the player around, shooting the gun, enemies, entity updates, all that stuff. That's in the game. That's later. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is, actually, this can be a lot simpler than you think it is. If you're even asking like questions like, gosh, what kind of do I need a model view model to like do different screens? It's like, no. What you need is just like a way to like figure out if you're in the screen, right? And then just do the stuff for the screen. So that's what we're doing. Random number, and well, we probably want that. Okay, so random number is not, we don't have a type. I'll assign it to S32. Okay, signed 32-bit integer. Random number redefinition. Really? Wait, 808. Random number. Oh, what? What was that complaining about? Weirdness. Oh, that worked? Oh. Okay. So now what should we see? When I go to this thing, we should see, you should be able to just click, and then you should see that the bonus got applied, right? So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna hit E. Okay. So this is saying that, and see, I'm going to swap this out for like a lighter colored one because uh, I notice these, like, as a kind of visual person. I'm not really a great artist, but I definitely can see these kinds of things. Like, I can definitely see when we're dealing with, yeah, that's like, okay, then I click OK. And notice I have 3 repairs now, right? So I got the bonus, right? I actually got the bonus. The bonus was applied before I ever, like, the bonus was actually applied the moment I saw that screen. And then the screen was just telling me that you got the bonus, right? And so now I've got the bonus and, we're good. So I'm going to quit. And then all I want to do is I just want to like replace that with something else. So all I want to have is like a lighter colored repair icon just for the bonus screen because it's a little bit, it looks funky in the bonus screen. And then, but actually in the UI, it looks okay. If I make it lighter color in the UI, then it's going to like fight with that. It's basically the problems with art is like, you just don't want stuff that fights. So I just don't want it to fight. So I'm going to like not do that. Okay, position.row equals, let's see where my new repair icon is. Yeah, see, I've got this kind of like, so there's the standard one here, and then there's the white one that I think will look better on the, it'll look better on the green background. So I'm going to do that. So there's that one. Let's see, what column is it? 11. I know, 13. So 13. Okay. Okay, repair icon, bonus screen. Okay, so that's looking right. Now we've got that, and now I can use that. And actually, I just need to test it. So what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure that it looks good in that spot. So that's not right. I just need to go to the piece of code or the piece of logic that handles where we do that. Okay, so if I just start typing like repair icon, I get there. And actually, just for the purpose of quick testing, repair icon, bonus screen. So that's going to be that, and then I also want the same thing for the actual like piece of logic. And then all I'm going to do here is this will just set the icon texture for basically any bonus that I got so that I can just quickly see it. And then if I see it and it's good, then I know that it's also here, right? So then I can just recompile it, and I know that I'll see that the next time I get one of these kinds of bonuses, and we should be good. So and then obviously if I see any problems later, then I'll fix them, but I don't think I'll have any problems. Okay, so there's that. Okay, yeah. So does that look good? I think so. The white kind of works. And again, like, as with any of these screens, as is always the case, and I cannot stress this enough, when you are early prototyping something, I do not give two flying craps how this screen looks at this point in time. All I know is that I need some kind of a bonus screen. All I know is that like I think that would be a good thing to have. So I'm really just throwing in like the quickest, most bare bones version of that system that I can. And then later on, I'm going to, if this indeed turns out, you know, if it has like overwhelmingly warm reception from playtesters and people really like it, then of course, we will start thinking about how we can make this bonus screen so much better, and maybe all these different bonuses that we can apply and all this other stuff. But as long as I've got something where the artwork looks okay, there's no fighting, it's legible, it's got reasonable user experience, not like terrible user experience design, we're good, you know? And that's good. And actually that was a repair that we generated. So there. So that extra instruction was not needed. So we're just gonna do this. Just get rid of that. And now I'm more or less just gonna kind of keep working on under the assumption that that should be fine, right? So now the question is, do we want to play the game with the bonuses, right? Probably is a good time to do a play test if I'm being totally honest, because we did just like put a new system in, just kind of see what we notice. So I'll do the old I'll do the old play testeroo. Say that this is new art. A lot of times I don't have the most detailed commit messages because it's just me. In a bigger team, you probably would want to have better commit messages, but I'm just a guy programming things. So let's see, startup. Say cheap debug mode, false. Okay, so now we are back to what I would call a baseline, right? What do I mean by that? This is how the game will play, just on its own with no other modifiers. And the only thing that we added were these like random events, okay? And then the cards also are now outside. And so then the question becomes, where ought the player expand, right? And I'm thinking that there are two different directions I can go. I can go down here and claim this early on, but then I'm also going to want to get this card, right? I'd claim this as well. That's, that might help a bit. See how much more of a bonus I get. There's really no cards early on. If I got this bonus though, and it told me that it was like a card bonus or like a resource bonus, then I might go towards the card, try to get the card. If I go in this direction, I'm not really moving towards any cards, which sucks. So I don't like that. And this is actually something that's sort of interesting that I didn't really fully appreciate and or notice. But it definitely seems like there's a lot of this direction or strategy that you'll end up going. Wow, it really feels like I'm playing Slipways kind of because of the random generation aspect of it. Slipways has a lot of this where there's like no viable direction that you, like some parts of it are like, it's not like a viable direction that you could go. So for example, like up here is not really viable because there's no cards, right? So it's going to take me a long time before I ever come upon another card. And I want cards to kind of improve my options here for what I can build on this deck and kind of grow my player. Similarly here, there's not really many other options, not really like great options for expansion there. So that sucks. Here is much better, right? Because now I also have this option. So if I go in this direction, then I can get this resource. I could get this, I could get that card. But also like the collision detection logic right now that I have in my game is kind of, And so I would end up like, I'd have to like actually build the panel around all the way here. So I need to improve that system in order to make this card more accessible, which is just a reality. This is perhaps, so what I'm starting to think is maybe I build a little panel here, right? And then I build like out there. There's also the much more risky option, which is I am tempted to do it. Just build it all the way out here, get the card and the resource, and then go for that. Because it's going to be much easier to defend the deck in the early stages than later on, right? So if I take a big, if I invest as much as I can early on, right, I'll have that payout later. And I can afford to do that investment early on because the enemies are weaker. I can't afford to do the investment later on because they get much stronger. So I'm going to consider this option as a viable route. So I think that's the best way to invest my resources. Now the trade that I'm making, it's going to be much harder to defend this, and you'll see. I think I can barely get, okay, this is good. So I can get my gun to go just, that section's going to be harder to defend, but we'll see. You know, we'll see. I am, shall we say, reasonably optimistic about my prospects here. So we get that guy, okay, get him, yep. My partner played this game the other day, and he said he really liked it. Or he said that it was like an example of something strategic. Okay, so again, you know, it's... But the good thing is that by choosing this like slightly more aggressive building plan and deciding that I'm going to defend it more vigorously, I have... what have I done? I think it's a better use of resources. You'll see why. But I really think it is because it only costs me 3 to do the deck panel. So let's assume on the next turn, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then I've got 1 left over for here. That's actually really good. And then if I need to get something here, like a bonus resource, I could repair maybe. So this game, again, it's all about risk-reward trade-off. And not like a contrived risk-reward trade-off that I just, you know, like a lot of these games, they just kind of like, there's a lot of like BS kind of like risk-reward trade-offs. This is inherent to the space of the game itself. And so I'm trying to like really lean into what I notice and go from there. So we've got that, and I'm going to put the panel down. Okay, and I'm going to grab my card. Yep. And I want this fire rate area turret. Why? Because this is actually a pretty large, it's a reasonably large area of deck. And now I have this question, right? To get to the resource, what do? Do I just plow straight forward that way, or do I like kind of try and post hole my way out? But I definitely want to get the bonus. That seems like the right path. So I'm going to try that out. Because it will be reasonably simple to defend it. Like I could defend it. I guess I could also build like a repair depot if I needed to. A repair bay. Notice how much easier it is to defend my deck now that I can actually walk the entire surface of it. Right? So that's awesome. That guy goes. You're expelled. You're expelled. Come on. Okay. So it's much easier to defend my deck. Now I'm going to build post holes in this direction. And you see I've got kind of this other like area section thingy. And I can do another joist. It's probably going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take me a few turns to be able to panel that over and be able to get to the bonus. But I'm hoping that the bonus will really do something good for me. Maybe if the bonus gives me like more energy or more stone, then I can put down one of these, and then I'll really be cooking. So let's try that out. I might just be able to play this game to the point of like running out of yeah, this game really is all about like using that quiet period to your advantage. Okay. Shoot. No. Okay. Do I go for a repair? Or do I spend to try? I think I'm just going to spend to try to get to the bonus. Another bonus that I was considering was, what if there's something that allows you to, what if there's a bonus that like, maybe like slightly increases the size of your malding meter or something like that? That would be kind of an interesting bonus. I know it's just silly that I call it that, but like, that's kind of what it is. It's your malding meter. All right, so I could build this here that way. I think I want to get this, but it's going to be harder to defend. Yeah, I just have to make sure I defend this part so that it doesn't get destroyed. And I don't mauled a bunch. But we'll see. I've got guys coming here. I also, you realize that I can't... Oh, this gets to be so difficult. All I have to do is, like, I just have to, like, drive them out, I just have to push them away, but it's, like, so much. Crap. No, don't retarget there. Okay. Now I can get my bonus. What's my bonus? 4 energy. Okay. For once, I have 8 energy. That's unusual. How do I want to spend it? Remember, I need 5 energy and 7 of these to do a fire rate area turret. Don't quite have that. But I can put a repair bay down. That'll give me 1 repair a turn. I could put another repair bay down. That gives me more repairs. But I'm still going to have to drive the enemy out. And that's going to be difficult. I suspect that repair bays are actually a little bit they're worth more than turrets. But, wait, what happened to my other card? That sucks. What happened to my fire rate area turret? That's strange. I shouldn't have been able to do that, whatever that was. Okay, so there's still some bugs. Yeah, I think I shouldn't have been able to do like 2 repair bays on the same turn or something. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Just got like a big fire hose of these things. I've got no turrets, which makes this like really, really difficult. Oh my god, okay. Crappity crap, smackle and pop. This is difficult. Okay. I am so close to having... All right, I've got 2 repairs. Got a repair and I've got a repair. But what do I want to repair? I probably want to repair that thing. This sucks. I'm kind of getting eaten alive here. And I just don't have enough of the stone for that fire rate area turret. That one thing that if I could just start building them, I would be in a really good spot, or a much better spot. I'd probably be in so good of a spot that I could like get the game to a point where it would crash just because I'm building so much. It occurs to me that the difficulty of this game ramps up really quickly. And that can be good because it gets really exciting. Like you're running around, but like there comes a point where if you don't put some turrets down, you're screwed. And then the question is where and how much. Because I've got to like, basically I've got to wait 3 more turns for me to do another one. I might balance the cost of the fire rate area turret in the direction of maybe costing fewer of the stone resources. Obviously the way to solve this would have been to like capture 2 of those, make it much quicker, but it feels like there's not quite enough ways to get my income up. And that makes it difficult. Especially now that I like require, so I'll just keep playing and see if I can do anything at all. And I'll try and do what I was gonna do, which is this. It's good to play these and like get a feeling for what you could do. You know what I mean? Because then you at least like have some sense of, okay, so here's that guy, like right, like he's gonna go after that. I want to basically save my big panels because they're the key to my survival. Everything else I can probably get rid of, but you know, and I'm also malding. You know, I've lost 2 things already, so I'm kind of malding a little bit. I've got 2 repairs here. So I've got that and I've got that. It's probably the right things to repair, but I'm not sure. I could build another turret. That will help me a little bit, but I still don't quite have the income of this resource in order to get where I want to go. So now the question is, well, okay, how big of a panel do I want to build? How big of a panel do I think I can defend? I think I can defend that. Here we go again, you know, might not win, but we'll see. I've got this guy here. I can knock him out. I can repel him. I can repel this guy. I can repel this guy, but can I repel all of the others that come by? Can I? No, 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 no. You do not touch my big panels. You do not touch that. Not the thing that's going to like ensure my safety in the future. No, 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 not that, no, no, no. Okay, I'm going to start malding. Okay. I got that. I got that. I'll save that. I am just like 1 turn away from this, from putting down a nice like fire rate area turret. So maybe I actually can survive. I don't want to put them on, I don't want to put any more turrets down there. So I'm actually just going to work on building the deck substructure. Here, I'll do joists. Wow, this game is difficult. It really is. And that's kind of, it's got like, there's a lot of things I like about this game already. Like, I like it's got all of the frenetic feel of Factorio. Like so one thing, it's odd because I don't know that I even necessarily like Factorio. Like I like it. When I play it, I feel like I enjoy it. But what I always find is this like weird feeling of like I can never stop and just build the factory, right? Like because I'm always under threat from all these different, you know, enemies or whatever. There's never this feeling of like calm and like I can just focus on building. But actually this game has that. This game has all of the freneticness of Factorio plus a kind of calm building phase, which is kind of cool. Like I don't know that I've really played many games that are like that. Okay. Okay, we gotta stop this. Can't have that. Can't have that. Okay, no. That's under threat. That's under threat. So okay. No. What? So notice also that I have like a lot of Yes, this is the turn. Okay, this is when we do the thing. I can build one of these finally. Now it's very important that I pick the right spot for it. I'm going to pick here because it's kind of the nexus of a lot of things. Now this turret here gets a big bonus because its fire rate is a function of the area of the panel that it's sitting on. So this thing actually is like 2 by 3, right? So it gets a bonus for the 2, also times like the bonus for the 3. So it's actually like a 6x bonus based on the size of the panel that it's sitting on, right? That's huge. So the more of those that I can build, obviously, like the greater I can expand. I still have some energy left, which is good. Oh, and I also have some repairs. I'm going to repair the panel that it's sitting on. This should be a pristine panel. I can like keep all the other stuff more or less reasonably good. Okay, and then now that is joisted, so that's good. Yeah, and then I can like kind of start to work on that part. That should be good. Okay, so now what are we doing? Gonna try another turn. Now this thing's gonna start spitting a bunch of crap out, and that's great. So it should be a lot easier to defend my base, or my deck, or whatever this game is. See, notice how that thing, it just kicks stuff out, but it's like difficult to get to a place. No, 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 you do not. No, 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 sir, you do not. No! Oh, my friends, I lost. The deck collapsed underneath me and I died. But, you know, it was a good run. So actually, that was a lot of fun. And it's roughly time to end the stream. So, thanks for joining. If you have any questions about the game right now, I'd be happy to answer them for you. But I feel like that was a pretty good, just a good session. A good, like, didn't really do much in terms of work, but it's good to play your stuff a lot, and especially every time you add something new, you should play your game. You know, add something new, play it, see how it feels, notice things. That's basically all I did. So. And I'm fine. All right, well, thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.